Alright, what's up people? Welcome to today's episode of Shred City, and today I'm just going to do kind of like a sit down or stand up talk episode, and I'm going to go over my top worst foods to have when you're trying to lose body fat or on some sort of fat loss diet. And you all have seen my past videos. I did one on the best foods to eat during a fat loss diet. Now this is going to be the ones you need to avoid, like the worst foods you can have on a diet. So I just made a list here. I don't even know exactly how many foods I put down on it, but I just want to go through each of the foods, talk about why it's not good for you, and maybe also talk about what you can substitute for that instead. So let's get started. So the overall thing with a fat loss diet, like you hear me talk about so much, is number one, you have to put yourself in a calorie deficit. And you can't just be in a calorie deficit for a day and lose all your fat. You have to sustain that for weeks and months at a time. Depending on how much fat you want to lose, depends on ultimately how long you stay in that deficit, and even how severe you put yourself into that caloric deficit. And that's what drives fat loss. If you are consuming less energy than your body expends, therefore burning more calories but taking in less than you're burning, you're going to force yourself to lose weight. It doesn't matter if you're keto, paleo, vegan, I don't care what it is. If you're eating less calories than you are burning off in the day, you will lose weight. But that's not easy. That's essentially our body is starving itself to force it to eat its fat cells and fat stores away. So it's not easy to do that. So like I always talk about, you need to keep yourself full and make sure you're eating the right foods to allow you to sustain that and stay consistent. So that's why you see me talk about the best foods to have on a fat loss diet, but also today I'm going to be going over the ones you should avoid. So number one on this list is calorie drinks. And what I mean by that is anything that you drink that contains calories. Why do we avoid calorie drinks? Well, they're not going to fill us up. We're going to take a few sips, a few gulps, it's going to be down, passed right through our system. It's not going to keep us full. Before you know it, we might have just drank 300 calories, and 10 minutes later we're still hungry, we're still starving, and we overdo our calories because we didn't keep ourselves full. So what do calorie drinks include? Any kind of non-diet pop. Lots of coffees have like creamers, sweeteners, even like protein shakes. I never drink protein shakes just because they're not going to keep myself full. So instead, I'll make like a big protein ice cream like you see me make all the time, or I'll make some sort of smoothie or something. But you never see me just drinking straight protein shakes. I think it's a stupid idea just because it's not going to fill you up, especially in a fat loss diet. When you're depleted and you have low body fat, low leptin levels, you're going to be hungrier than normal. So it's very dumb and idiotic to not keep yourself full on these diets. So to substitute for calorie dense drinks, feel free to drink any kind of diet drinks or 0 calorie drinks. Yes, these drinks, sorry about that guys, my camera just cut out. What I was on the diet sodas, diet drinks. What these are good for is they're not going to have the calories like you would drink like a 300 calorie bottle of Mountain Dew. Or if you go like a 0 sugar or diet soda or diet drink of some kind, they're going to be 0 calories. Well, I should say they're going to say 0, but they more have like 3 to 5 calories. They always kind of round down with the calories. But either way, 3 to 5 calories, that is saving yourself so many calories compared to drinking like a 300 calorie, 150 calorie drink. That's not going to fill you up. These diet sodas are also very good because they have a lot of carbonation, which kind of temporarily keeps you full. If you have a lot of like volume in your stomach, you're not going to feel hungry. Also, they taste really good. They taste sweet, which kind of takes away that sweet craving. So they're also a very good option for you to have. And then with the protein, just turn it into protein ice cream. You all see me make my protein ice cream. Go do that. I promise you, keep you so much more full. So the next thing to avoid is oils, olive oil, butter, canola oil, whatever it may be. Any kind of an oil that you would cook with, cut that shit out. It's not going to keep you full. Yes, they have lots of vitamins and minerals in some of them, like avocado oil, canola oil, olive oil, whatever it may be. But for trying to lose fat, that's excess calories that aren't going to keep you full. You have a tablespoon of olive oil, it's literally like a sip, a tiny little tablespoon, 100 calories. Or if you douse your food in oil, you cook your food in oil, you're literally putting calories down your system, and you're not going to be in that calorie deficit. You're certainly not going to be full. So instead of having oils, I'd really recommend substituting their fat sources for things like whole eggs, avocados, just because that oil, it's not going to keep you full. And honestly, if you cook without oil, you're not really going to taste it. And say if you do taste a difference, honestly, grow a pair. You're trying to lose fat here. The last thing you should be concerned about if your food tastes slightly different because you don't have oil in it. So get that shit out of your diet, just because it's not going to help your fat loss goals at all. Next thing that you should avoid on a fat loss diet, you've heard me talk about this before, you know I hate on it a lot, but rice. Rice, again, it's not going to keep you full. You look at a cup of rice, how many 100 calories is in that compared to a cup of potatoes, which is like literally less than half that. Rice, sure, it might have some nutritional value for you, but just because something is healthy for you doesn't mean it's good for your weight loss or fat loss goals. There's a lot of calories, a lot of carbs in rice, and not that that's bad, but for the amount of rice that contains that much, that's that dense in calories, it's not good for fat loss diet. It's not going to keep you full. Same thing with the oils. It's not going to keep you full. You want to keep yourself full because that's going to allow you to be more consistent and sustain your diet. So rice is not a good idea. If I'm going to have rice, I'm almost always substituted for something else in my fat loss diet. Like I have a decent amount of oats. I have some potatoes. More so, there's a lot of fiber in those, more volume. And they taste relatively good too, so it's going to keep me full and not taste terrible. Next thing to avoid, any kind of a calorie dense sauce on your diet. So again, they're just like oils. It's literally liquid calories. It's going to flow right through you that you don't even think about. That's going to take you out of that calorie deficit. Calories are calories. Calories in, calories out. The law of thermodynamics, like I just mentioned, if you are consuming more calories than you're putting out there, you are not going to lose weight. If you're in a caloric surplus, excess calories, you're not going to lose weight. It doesn't matter where those calories come from. So if you use a bunch of, like, say, barbecue, like honey mustard, I can't even think of like high calories, ranch dressing, stuff like that. Extra calories. Yeah, it might add some taste to your food, but it's not going to help your fat loss out because it's not going to keep you full at all. So when I see guys dousing sauces on their stuff and they're trying to lose weight, it's like you're literally just ruining your progress. You're such an idiot for doing that. So instead of using those, go for some 0-calorie sauce. There's plenty options out there. I know Walden Farms, I use their 0-calorie circle up. They also have any kind of salad dressing imaginable. I'm a big fan of barbecue, so what I do is I found this 2-carb barbecue. It's literally called 2-carb barbecue. I just found it at a local grocery store. I'm pretty sure they have some sort of like a sugar-free or version of that too if you like barbecue. Also mustard. They have like light dressing, stuff like that. Yes, some of these dressings may say they're 0 calories, but again, they're just rounding down, so there is still calories in them. Like mustard, yellow mustard, it's going to say 0 calories. But for a serving, which is like 5 grams or so, it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 calories in there. So say if you're someone like me that has like probably 5 to 10 servings at a time, that could potentially be around 50 calories or so. So if you're not careful, that will add up. But it sure as hell is a lot better than just dousing on like a full calorie dense sauce. And plus, if you use these 0-calorie sauces, they're going to help the taste of your food so much. So really, really utilize these 0-calorie sauces. And again, I don't care what the chemicals are, what the ingredients are in these sauces, just because it's not a big deal. Look at it this way. If you are in shape, you are not overweight, you're going to live so much longer, be so much healthier than if you are overweight, eating these foods that are fattening you up versus being in shape, looking great, feeling great, but eating some foods that have some chemicals in them. I'd take that all day over being overweight and unhappy, unsatisfied with how you look, just because it's stupid. Why would you want to be out of shape and overweight, but eating these healthy foods? It's stupid. Next thing to avoid, candy. Thankfully, I'm not a huge fan of candy. I do have a sweet tooth. I like lots of like pastries and like chocolatey stuff, but I'm not a huge kind of candy fan. So it doesn't really bother me too much. But candies, what they are is pure sugar. So pure sugar, that's, again, it's just like anything. It's going to go right through your system, not going to fill you up. Yeah, it may taste very good, but it's not going to fill you up very fast or long term at all. So just pretty much cut that out completely and you'll feel and get a lot better results. Some substitutes for candy that I like to make is fruit. I mean, honestly, it doesn't taste as good as candy, but it's going to kind of have that like tangy, kind of sweet taste you get from candy. Yes, fruit does have a lot of sugar, decent amount of carbs in it, but it sure as hell is a lot smarter to have on a diet compared to candy. For a whole bowl of strawberries, I eat berries and strawberries all the time, mainly just because there's a decent amount of volume in them actually. A lot of fiber, so it keeps you full, takes longer to digest. potentially burn more calories eating it just because it takes longer to digest. But it also tastes really, really good. So if you can swap that out for some fruit, number one, you're gonna be getting a lot more vitamins and minerals in your diet. And number two, you're gonna be staying a lot more full, eating a lot less calories. For, what is it, 150, 140 grams of strawberries, it's like 50 calories. If you don't know, that's literally like a whole big handful of strawberries. That's a lot of strawberries. So very, very good. I typically think strawberries are the best for calorie wise. And it's probably gonna be like any kind of raspberry, blackberry. Blueberries are a little bit higher in calorie, but they certainly are a lot better than like bananas or apples or stuff like that. Berries are your best bet to go for on a diet. Next thing to avoid, high fat meat. So this one again is so stupid because it's literally the same as low fat meat and it fills you up just the same, tastes basically the same, but it's gonna add a shit ton more calories on. So what I mean by high fat meat is, say for example, you go to the store, you get some ground beef. When I'm on a diet, you wanna get the leanest beef possible because that extra fat and the high fat beef can add so many extra calories to your diet. So instead of getting like the 85% lean, 15% fat meat, which is say like 200 calories per 4 ounces, get the 96% lean and the 4% fat beef, which is gonna be like 140 calories. You're literally saving yourself like 60 to even 100 calories by getting low fat meat to lean meat, or high fat meat to lean meat. So don't get the high fat meats. Turkey breast, right now, go to like 99.1, maybe get away with like 93.7. Chicken breast, pretty much any chicken breast is already pretty lean, so stick with your chicken. As far as fish goes, yes, salmon and everything, it's all very good for you, but again, it's got a lot of fat in it. It's gonna add a bunch of extra calories that you don't need. So if you do like fish, maybe go some tilapia, cod, stuff like that. But it's gonna be a lot better off for you because it's gonna save you so much more calories. So that extra fat meat, it's essentially just like the oil thing, just extra fats that's gonna add a whole bunch of calories that you don't need. Let me see here, I just lost my list for a second. So the next thing is cereal. And honestly, if there's one thing that it's hard for me on a diet, is cereal. Yes, you can still eat any of these things I'm talking about. Any of these things I'm talking about, you can still eat on a diet. It's just not smart at all because they're not gonna keep you full. Cereal, unfortunately, is one of those things. I am a cereal connoisseur. I love cereal. I eat cereal every single day, and I would be eating it every single day if I wasn't on such a strict prep. This prep, I'm taking it to the extreme, very strict, so I'm not letting myself have cereal because I literally need to make the most out of every single nutrient I'm getting and make sure it's fueling me so I can perform and get the best results possible. Cereal, it's just not gonna keep me full. And most of the time when you have cereal, there's a lot of sugar in it, you're gonna crave more, so it makes you even hungrier, where I can't afford to feel that right now. Most of you are gonna be even worse than me. I have extreme amount of discipline with my diet. Most people don't have near the amount of discipline that I do, so I can't imagine what you are like when you have a big bowl of cereal. So instead of cereal, swap that out for oatmeal, swap that out for something that kind of has, I guess you can kind of do popcorn. I guess that would be an example. Not really a great example, but just get that cereal out of your diet because it's gonna be a lot of shit ton of calories that you don't need. Next thing, honey. Honey, yes, it's another one of those things. It's very good for you. There's lots of good things in it, especially like the unfiltered organic honey. But it's pure sugar. All that sugar is excess calories that you don't need that's not gonna keep you full. I actually just had honey the other day. So camera just cut out again, it's really pissing me off. But I actually just had honey the other day just because, I don't even know why, but I shouldn't have because it didn't fill me up at all. And it was really idiotic for me to have it. Yeah, it tastes good, but it's just another form of those calories that aren't gonna fill you up. And you certainly aren't gonna be able to stay consistent with your diet because you're not gonna be satisfied. Last one, nuts. Another thing, it's very, very healthy for you. All these good fats, vitamins and minerals in them. But on a diet, it's wasting calories. Literally, my parents are a big fan of macadamia nuts, and it's like 28 grams, which is literally probably 5 nuts, 230 calories. That is a shit ton of calories that's gonna put you way, way over in your calorie goal. Say you grab a few handfuls of nuts. I've seen guys do it. They sit down and eat a whole bag of pistachios. You know who you are, but it's literally thousands of calories that they're putting down their system, not even thinking about it. So yes, I think you certainly can fit them into your diet, but is it smart? No, they're not gonna fill you up. You're gonna have 5 of them, you're gonna crave so much more because you're still hungry. So if you're in like your off season, you have more calories to work with, by all means, yeah, fit some nuts, fit any of this stuff into your diet. But just know that the more of the stuff you have in your diet, you're not gonna stay full. And if you're not full on your diet, or if you're craving more food because you're hungry, you're not gonna stay consistent with it. There's no way you can sustain a fat loss diet, sustain a calorie deficit for 12 weeks at a time, for a few months at a time, if you're not keeping yourself full or as full as you can. So please take into account what I'm saying here. Apply these strategies and techniques to your diet, and I guarantee you, if you eliminate some of these foods and make some of the swaps for the things that I mentioned, you're gonna be so much better off. So like always, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace.